Hello, people. My name is Daniel, and I am doing an interview with the War Game Bootcamp guys. Yep, one guy's a little angry, another guy's a little bearded, but don't worry about it. They're going to be nice. They told me they're going to be nice. They're going to behave. And yes, right now I'm smoking a pipe. I'm smoking Italian tobacco, Savinelli, and this is called Brunello. For anybody who knows what a Brunello is, that means your tastes are very good because a Brunello is an expensive wine. So if you're going to buy a Brunello, you're going to spend $50. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, welcome to No Enemies Here in Conversation, where we have Thanos and we have Mr. Angry. Welcome, gentlemen. I don't hear you, Mr. Angry.
He's muted.
I mean, what's going on?
Can I request? Can I be Mr. Angry? I do it better.
Yeah, he does it way better than I do.
Hey, NY Raider friend, how are you, man? Look at that. We already got a guy on the show. Good afternoon, man. By the way, NY, we got Carl Kretter, one of the co-guys from War Game Bootcamp, and we got Tim, the other co-guy from the War Game Bootcamp. And you might say, or you might ask, I should say, what the heck is a War Game Bootcamp? So you know what? Because Tim has an English accent, it comes off more professional. Please, Tim, please let us know what the War Game Bootcamp is.
Well, do you want the short story or the long story?
Well, is it short English or short American? You see, there's different, because if it's short English, it's got to be at least an hour and a half type thing.
All right,
so
well, blame that idiot down there. And I'm pointing at him, the Mr. Non-Angry, staying in a very nice hotel by the looks of it. This was Carl's idea. So here's the short one. We can go into more details about the whys and the wherefores and stuff. Basically, get more people into playing war games, getting more Euro gamers into playing more war games, break down some of the barriers, break down some of the stereotypes, and get more people into playing war games so we have more people to play games with or lose games to, you know, that sort of thing.
I understand. Carl, taking on from what Tim is saying there, why the benevolency and in time and in not getting paid for doing any of this stuff? What like, when did you fall down and hit your head and start this?
We started around 2007, 2008, somewhere around in there. We were at Strategicon, and some things had happened which are totally unimportant. And the guy running the board games was a friend of mine named Patrick. And I walked up to Patrick and I said, "Hey, I have this crazy idea. I want to do this thing called the War Game Bootcamp, and we're going to have ranks, and we're going to award people stuff. And, you know, if they keep coming back and playing more and more games, we're going to give them bigger ranks." The whole rank thing and giving them all that stuff didn't work out, but the rest of it did. So we ran, as Tim said, we ran with it. The reason why we do it, this is our contribution to the hobby.
So, well, let me ask both of you the same question here, and whoever wants to answer first, what gives you the clout and or the audacity to think you can teach this?
Why not? Okay, number one, point number one. We like games. We like to play games that we like, and there's an inherent enthusiasm with playing a game that somebody's interested in learning, and that involves at times talking to people. What do you want to play? How much time do you have? Instead of saying, "I'm going to teach you this," is what are you interested in doing? And we found that enthusiasm on the audience side makes up a lot in getting people into these games. And, you know, and basically we're not there to do anything other than try and make an enjoyable experience.
So where do you get the confidence in your expertise to teach these games? Because that's that's a thing on its own, man. How to relay information concisely without confusion to someone learning a new game. Because when you, if I ask my sister, hey, let's play a game, her eyeballs get real big and you get this gloss look, right? It's like you can't tell her anything. You can't teach her anything. So how do you do that, man?
You just hit the nail on the head. We teach people that want to learn, first of all. We don't go around grabbing people and saying, you must learn a war game. We set up, usually at a convention, we're there for 8 hours, just sitting there waiting for someone to walk up and ask a question. That's all we do. We don't have a schedule. We decided that scheduling this stuff didn't work.
We tried that.
People come up whenever they have a free time between games or between whatever they're doing. And they say, hey, we saw you guys and we're kind of curious. And it just kind of mushroomed from there.
Yeah, but Carl, you not scheduling the games, how much open space do you have waiting for someone to come?
Usually about 4 tables, if we can. It depends what the con will give us. But we usually ask for like 4 tables so we can set up multiple games. And we have a format where we'll run for like an hour. We'll teach you the game, go through the rules, go through a turn. If you bring a friend and you both can play, then that's fine. We'll just say, go ahead, and we'll come by and make sure you're doing okay. And if you have any questions.
Okay, so it's not like you teach the game to completion.
No, not usually, unless they bring a friend and want to sit there for the entire thing.
Or the game is very short.
There's only 2 of us, and we want to make sure we get enough people coming through, right?
Okay.
So that's our format is to give them about an hour's worth, because an hour you can pretty much teach most games.
So Carl, I know you're a grognard, a really grumpy one. And Tim, it's actually the first time I meet you, and it's really nice meeting you. Are you a grognard like Mr. Grumpy Grognard there?
I'm a better grognard than him. I have worse dice luck.
He's a true. Yeah, he's a
okay. So both
I mean, I've been wargaming since my teens, back in the old country, and SPI, GDW, Avalon Hill stuff. Harder to find in the UK back then, and still a little bit so today.
So how did you guys find each other?
Patrick.
Yeah.
Basically.
Southern California had like a war game group thing. And we just kind of met at one of the conventions, right?
Well, I think it was through the SoCal Gamers Yahoo group.
And I pitched the idea to him and this other guy, and we just kind of went with it. And it was funny because you see the pictures that Tim's showing when we first started off. We got so many people.
Seriously?
Oh my gosh. Well, my wife was helping out, and the other guy's girlfriend was helping out. So it didn't hurt that, girls were kind of drawing guys in.
No, it doesn't hurt.
Right? I admit it. It was a marketing ploy.
Hey, man, whatever works.
Yeah, we got so many Eurogamers that were so curious about these war games that they kept seeing but didn't know that much about.
Wow, that's cool.
And that was where we kind of decided that was our best, kind of our bread and butter, our best audience, because we'd show them simple stuff like commanding colors or GMT's maneuver or whatever, and they just ate it up.
Really?
Oh yeah, they loved it. Because I mean, the one thing people always ask me is, what is the difference between a Euro game and a war game in my mind? And a Euro game has a theme usually just slapped on it, right? It's just, there's the mechanics. We'll put
usually,
not always, but
right.
But war games, every rule is made to support the theme. every part of the rules is there to support whatever the theme is, because it's trying to tell the story of an historical event.
So how do you? So even before that, how do you get by when a person asks, "Hey, what's the difference between a war game and a Euro game?" And then they look at the rule book.
I don't show them the rule book.
Yeah, I figured, because I mean that would shock anybody.
Well, you don't want to. I mean, the funny thing is, our methodology has changed over the last 10 years or so through trial and error. Hence, like, we tried scheduling, found that didn't work. That was too inflexible for people.
Right.
We've gone with, we're doing these particular games. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Now we've gone to a more open a la carte. What do you want to learn? Here's some of the stuff we can do. Contact us in advance and we'll try and get a game prepped so you can learn it when we're at the con.
Which is very accommodating.
Well, because we've tried all different methodologies of being restrictive and being scheduled and being, this is what, this is it. And that, oh, well, I want to do this, or I want to do an old game, or I want to do a new game. We've tried all sorts of things, and we've settled on a mechanism that seems to be the best of all the worlds, which is we try to be as flexible as possible, because the audience, they may only have a little bit of time available at a con, and hey, I've got an hour. I want to know. I'm interested in that game there that just came out. Can you teach us it? Yeah, certainly. Sit down.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Are there any? Because I know Carl was speaking to me, because Carl is in the Fokker Pipe Club, the Fokker Circus, but he's not smoking his pipe now because the hotel management doesn't want.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Yeah, and I even forgot what I was going to say. For God's sake, man, this always happens to me. I swear to God. Oh yeah, are there any? Because I know you bring your own games, Carl. Do you bring your games too?
Yes. So
together, you guys bring on the average how many games?
Too many.
Which is
way too many.
I usually like to load the car up with.
Seriously.
I mean, if you look at the pictures there, we bring sometimes art, but we bring all sorts of games, new ones, old ones, popular ones that we're really our favorites. So a little bit of enthusiasm can come over, like something like, okay, you want to learn a game? Here's a game what we think's good for you. It's not just foist your favorite game on somebody. Is come up with a game that you think they're going to be interested in, that fits within their time and their experience level, and that seems to work rather than force your favorite.
Are there any games and or subject matter that is off limits to you guys?
Not yet, no.
Well, I mean, we all have our favorite games. Like, I'm not a big sci-fi fantasy war game person. I like historical stuff. Yeah. So, Carl might bring his favorite stuff. There's a bunch of them we have in common. We always want to have the standards. Like, we don't do ASL, for example.
Let's say I want to learn ASL.
Then we probably try and connect you up with some of the ASL guys if they're there at a con.
Really?
I mean, we were at Pacificon a couple of weeks ago, and there was, there's some ASL guys there, that we've known there from, seeing them there year after year. And who was there? It was Dave. Dave was doing Combat Commander. The guy wanted to Combat Commander Europe. Okay, he played ASL in the past. He came back into wargaming after a long period, away, which is not uncommon nowadays. And he's like, "Hey, I want to learn a game." And I go, "Well, you've done ASL. How about go and learn? There's Dave over there. Let's go and talk to Dave, because we know him from GMT West."
Yeah, but these guys who are into ASL, these guys don't want to talk to people.
No, that's not true at all.
It's a matter of approach, and a matter of finding somebody is going to do a good job. We co-opted people into our boot camp to help out. based on their experience and their personalities. So if there's somebody there we know can teach something that we can't, and we can hook somebody up to fulfill that requirement, then great. I mean, we talked Dave Lanfear into teaching a guy how to play Combat Commander. Dave's very good at Combat Commander.
Yeah, but Combat Commander is more of an easygoing, non-lifestyle game. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that's true at all. I think it's a lifestyle game. I know lots of guys, that's all they play.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's like
it's got hundreds and hundreds of scenarios.
No, I know, but it's like picking your left nostril all the time. What about the right one?
So you get them to play Combat Commander Europe instead and have fun.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to probably type a comment.
When they get to the right one, it'll be ready.
Well, I'll give you my experience of the only con I've been to in the States was WBC, right? And the ASL guys were setting up, and there was this big guy and another little guy, and they're playing ASL, right? So it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm up. I don't know why. And I'm just standing there looking, right? So one guy turns on, he gives me this dirty look. Oh, my God. And it's like, you play ASL? And I said, no, I'm looking for a game of Crazy Eights just to piss the guy off, you know? And I couldn't believe it, man.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. The important thing there is, if you're going to teach a game, you want to teach it well. You want to teach it with enthusiasm. You want to teach it with confidence. Because, if the other guy just wants to destroy you in a by playing a game, and getting a cheap,
that's boring. That's
boring. That's not the way to get. That's not the way to get people into doing different games or get the people into wargaming.
But that's not even the way to enjoy yourself.
It is for one side of it.
Yeah,
in a perverse way.
Now let's say. Go ahead, Carl.
The guys at Pacificon that were the ASL guys we knew, and they were friendly guys who loved to bring new people in. If they were not, we wouldn't have sent anybody over there. It's that simple. We do kind of do our homework a little bit.
So, like, what are you going to say to a guy who wants to learn ASL, man? Are there any alternatives that you guys would say?
Combat Commander or lock and load tactical.
So you would suggest something else, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have Band of Brothers, Lock and Load Tactical, Conflict of Heroes. There's a bunch of tactical.
Yeah, there is a bunch of tactical. And I mean,
maybe they wanted ASL because that's all they've heard of. They have no idea, Yeah. And so now I've just broadened their view. And I haven't said, don't play ASL.
I know.
Just that realize there are these other things here. And that if you want to check them all out, cool. If you don't, cool too.
What about a game that's known to be, till a couple of weeks ago for me, was the rule book was unreadable. I've heard, because you know where I'm getting at here.
Yeah.
The rule book was unreadable, but I want to learn how to play Fields of Fire.
If we had it and we brought it, then yeah, we would sit down and show you. If you contacted us before and said, listen, I'm dying to learn this one of us would pick it up and bring it. And
would an hour be sufficient?
I would guess. I've actually never played Fields of Fire.
No, but let me open up the question. Is an hour sufficient to teach someone a game? Have you ever had to go over that 1 hour?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
At San Diego.
It's a guideline, not a rule.
Here's the thing. I mean, Carl came up with the concept. I mean, my enthusiasm is different from Carl, and I used to always want to do the whole game from start to finish.
Right.
And that just ties you up for ages. So
absolutely.
Carl, let's try and keep it to an hour, but that's all within a loose set of guidelines. San Diego, the last time there was the in-person one, there was a base. I'm not sure if it's Virgin Queen or Here I Stand. They were doing basically let's have a couple of games, as many games as possible of I think it was Here I Stand. And okay, I'll lead one game, I will teach it and play it, and we'll spend the whole day on Saturday with 5 newbies and me, and my job is we're going to teach the game. We're going to go through the whole lot, cradle to grave. It's going to be a play and teach session. My job is to do as well as I can and make sure everybody else can do as well as they can, give them fair advice. It's going to take the whole day. That's Saturday done. I'm happy. I'm teaching a game I like. We're having a fun time. That's way outside the 1 hour rule, isn't it? So it depends.
Struggling by myself because he was out there doing. No, I'm just kidding.
So what
can win? Can win.
Phil Hatfield says Tide of Iron.
Oh,
Is that one of the games you guys play?
I taught Tide of Iron at Strategicon when we first were doing the boot camp when it first came out.
Yeah.
Great game. The one thing you need to do with Tide of Iron though is don't take the figures on and off the stand.
Oh man, it's over.
Get a stick and stick it in one of the holes and put beads for the hits, or use those little counter. What are they called? The spacers for the.
Yeah. Nope. What I did is I used a lighter and I stuck them on, but they kept getting shorter every game. But what? Look, do you guys both have a teaching background of sorts?
I do.
Tim?
I've taught enough software and technical stuff in the past.
Okay.
We're both very technical background people.
So, okay, Tim, you don't know me. I've got attention deficit disorder. Okay, lots of squirrels are happening here, man. Lots of people walking around. How are you going to make me focus? Seriously.
I think that comes down to reading the person.
Are you going to hit me?
Do you? I mean, if you want to, if that's your thing. But no, the thing there is we play lots of games collectively. I run game groups locally. My local people. I teach a lot of games. You learn a lot of, how to read people a little bit, how to teach well, and that comes through experience. And sometimes you realize, okay, this session isn't going well, or other times it's like, oh, this person's picking it up dead quick. I can speed it up. I can gloss around the edges. You got to try and you got to ask questions and read the person. If it comes down to it, a game that I've never played for fun, I've only ever played to teach, is Battlecry. The miniatures-based command. Oh, there's a picture of it, as if by magic. Because it's very weird for non sort of war gamers. It's like the whole concept of, they may not understand hex movement. They may not understand the concept of what's the difference between cavalry and infantry and artillery. And okay, there's only cavalry, artillery, and infantry in this. You can explain. Here's a whole bunch of men, and you can ask questions about. Okay, you want to learn a game about. Let's learn a battle game. This is the battle of whatever it is. Shiloh or Chancellorsville or whatever. Let's set it up, and we're going to go through it. And you ask questions to try and get from them what they know. And it's nice to sort of like, well, the reason why this is infantry and it only moves one space is because it's all these men marching together in ranks, and it's very difficult to control them, and their muskets can fire this distance. And
okay, so you wouldn't be as dry as to say because it's written in the rules.
Oh no, we
might have to
whenever we can.
Are you guys animated just being Italian in bed, I do.
We're not Italian. We're not Italian, jazz hands.
First of all, I'm German. I'm the exact opposite. So.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah,
but to add what Tim said, it's that, and it's just patience.
Yeah, but patience. Look, patience. When do you tell someone, hey, look, person, this ain't working. Get lost.
We've never done that.
Okay,
I've had it where that this is not going smoothly, but that's about reading people. When you understand that the person isn't picking up stuff, is either they're no longer interested. This is not what they're after. In that case, you just got to basically communicate and talk. So
what about people who are inebriated
or whatever? Yeah, we've done that.
Inebriation?
Oh, on my side? Oh.
After we're done, sometimes, yeah.
No, but I mean, what happens to people who are a little, happy slappy, and
they're happy slappy. That's
it. Okay, yeah.
It's
And-
not. See, everyone thinks when you talk about teaching, they think classrooms, and they think
that's what
you
I'm
have
thinking.
to be here, and you've got to be quiet and sit down. We don't do any of that. We're very accommodating. We try to let people's different play styles play out the way they want. If they're not enjoying the game, we switch the game. We're like, do you want to try something else? You know, it's not a big deal. And you know, like I said, it's the patience part comes in when you don't do it for them. You got to let them work it out.
Yes, I understand.
And I had a perfect example of this. We had a guy at Pacificon who had a stroke. And
while you guys were teaching him?
No, fortunately, no. That he had a stroke before. His son brought him in a wheelchair.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he couldn't really use his hands very well. And he desperately missed playing war games. So we broke out Breaking the Barrier, the 3CI mini Empire of the Sun game.
South Pacific?
Yeah, South Pacific. And laid it out, and his son helped him move. The thing was, I didn't rush him. I didn't say, no, oh, do you want to move it here? You know, I let them do it. And I let him roll the dice. That man was so happy when he left. And I had shown his son how to teach him.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
play
cool.
war games with him so he could continue. Because that's the thing he missed the most from having the stroke.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't comment on something like that. I've never had a stroke.
Yeah, but
you know, knock on wood.
Those are the moments that Tim and I have that make all of this worth it. You know what I mean? It's just
because
when you know you've gotten through and you've really made a difference in someone's life, and they're like super excited to go play that game you just showed them or whatever it is.
I mean, obviously, this is a labor of love because I'm sure you guys make enough money to buy a hot dog each per con. You know,
I think we can afford a hot dog.
Or perhaps two.
Maybe
perhaps a big dram.
Yeah, like I said, it's our contribution to the hobby. The hobby gives us so much, and so many people make sacrifices to bring these games. I mean, we go to GMT all the time for their warehouse thing, and we talk to these guys that are volunteering to be developers and you know, the stuff that bring these games to us, and I just have the utmost respect for all of that, and I just decided that this was what I could do.
You know, you mentioned GMT right now, Carl. You'd figure that if you go to a GMT, the con in the West, California IA, that you wouldn't need to have the War Game Bootcamp there. You guys go as the War Game Bootcamp?
No, that's our time off.
That's your time off.
That's our time off where we get to do whatever we want.
Yeah.
So what do you play, Commands and Colors?
Sometimes. Yeah, sure.
No, I'm just saying that because that's probably the easiest game to teach someone. That's why I'm saying that.
Well,
that isn't.
Command and Colors Tricorn. So I like the Revolutionary War stuff. And I like Napoleonics too. So yeah, if someone said, let's play that, I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I understand. Before I get to where you guys have been in terms of cons and where you're going to be going in the near future, any famous designers come up to you guys and want to learn how to play a certain game?
John Butterfield asked me to play Combat Commander with him.
But he already knows how to play the game.
Yeah, but you know.
Did he pretend to act stupid so it works?
I just said, okay, I'll play with you.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's fantastic. But any designers not knowing a certain game wanting to learn?
Yes.
Darren Leveloff comes to us a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but that's cool. But Darren hasn't put out a game in a long time, man.
They just did the
Red Soviet Dawn.
Soviet Dawn, yeah. And yeah, because he very kindly donated a copy of that to the raffle at Pacificon. You know, like a designer copy.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And you guys get that a lot, eh? A lot of people coming over donating games so you can raffle it off. No.
Well,
the odd time, but it's mostly
we get a few, and then we usually put them in the raffle. Yeah, because you know, I don't want, the one thing I always told Tim was, I don't want people thinking we're run by a certain company. That, you know, oh, we won't show these games because we do these games, or, you know, whatever. I don't know a better way to phrase that. That sounded.
No, I understand. You're not a company man.
Yeah. So we try to remain, you know, neutral. We tell all companies, if you want to give us advertising that you've sponsored us or whatever, that's fine, but it's going to go next to GMT, next to Decision, next to whoever.
So what would you think?
Favorites.
What would you think if GMT came up to you guys and said, guys, we're going to put you on the payroll and I want you to do 50% GMT and 50% whatever else you want to do? Is that a good idea?
Well, that's a weird hypothetical question. But
I know.
We like all sorts of games. So GMT have been great supporters of us. And they donate games that we give away. I'm trying to find some pics. But we also like to teach what games we like. So it's not, and it's from all ones, you know, like we did Verdun 1916 Still Inferno at Pacificon, and I did the little Blitzkrieg game, Brotherhood and Unity, Triumph and Tragedy.
By the way, Tim, how is Brotherhood and Unity? I hear it's a good game.
It is a good game. I mean, it's best at 3 player.
Okay.
It's the tempo. I think it's so intriguing in the fact that it's not just build an army, march across the map, going boom, boom, boom. You got to be a little bit more subtle, which I like. I like the weird conflicts and the subtlety.
I think I was talking to you about this, Carl. In the Bosnian War, Bosnia-Herzegovina War, we were alive when this was happening, right? And I remember being incredibly interested because they just had the Olympics there not long ago.
Yep.
Okay. And all of a sudden, a civil war breaks out in a modern city, man. Like, you know, we're used to seeing what the media portrays of some Arab countries or some Arab cities, you know, and it's all dusty and all that. This was not dusty. There was flower pots in the middle of the roads type thing.
Yep.
Do you remember, Tim?
Yeah.
They had this thing called, this segment called the Romeo and Juliet story, where there was Sniper Alley, and a guy went, a teenager went by Sniper Alley. What do you think is going to happen? The guy got sniped, and his girlfriend ran to be with him, and she got sniped. And they called it, I don't know if you guys remember that, but they called it the Romeo and Juliet, and they both died.
Yeah.
No? Is it just me, man?
No. I do remember.
Story, yeah.
I mean,
just
we've been alive long enough. We've seen a few things play out on the television. You know, some people a little bit closer, but yeah. I mean, I'm definitely one. I mean, there's always a limit, but I'm definitely one of thinking games are a way of discussing and talking about difficult subjects.
Absolutely.
And you got to do it with care and dignity and a little bit of objectiveness and a little bit of, okay, you know, you're interested in this game. You don't want to play a particular side. I mean, Labyrinth was the first game. Labyrinth War on Terror by Volko was the first game I come across where I had somebody going, I want to learn the game, but I'm only playing the US side.
That, you know, I don't know how, I don't know. I mean, I could play either side because in my mind it's a game, but when you're involved in the game, it's not a game. It's I'm not going to say reenactment, but you know what I'm trying to say. What happens when you want to play a game that has the SS, man?
They're SS.
And if somebody wants to talk about the history of it, we like history.
Yeah.
I mean, we like the way the history comes out in the game and the topics it covers or doesn't cover. You know, that's what I like about historical war games over Euro games is the fact that the rules are there normally for a very good reason. You can't do this because of a reason rather than just some arbitrary concept invented by the designer. And I want that to come out. I want the game to come out with the flavor and act as a way of understanding the period more.
And it's funny, Tim, that you bring up Labyrinth, because if that's not a touchy subject right now in war game circles, bloody hell. Any other controversies with the games as such?
I mean,
I wouldn't say that's even a controversy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people like, I don't want to play that game, or I don't want to play that side in the game, and all I'm going to say is, that okay, I understand. I'm not going to argue. Not my reason to argue about it. Is to accept it. You have a strongly felt viewpoint, and all I can do is accept that.
You know, the first person that I saw that did that, it was the first con I've been to, was Mark Herman. He goes, I'll play any games and I'll never play the Germans. And I'm like, wow. You know?
There may have been a different reason than what you think for that.
Oh, I'm sure.
It may be that everyone wants to play the Germans and I want to.
Oh, I'm sure. Yes. I can't assume.
No, so usually when I get people like that, which is not very often, but I once in a while, and if they want to talk it out, you let them talk it out. You know, you just kind of say, okay, well, cool. You know, you don't want to play the SS, you don't want to play Germans because the SS and what they did and all that. Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
Any issues with veterans of recent wars?
No.
Other than the odd.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Other than, Labyrinth was one. Labyrinth's been around now for over 10 years. How soon is too soon? I'm not sure. Some things aren't discussed in the same level of depth. I think I met a guy who was in Vietnam who was sort of like only just willing to look at games on Vietnam after.
Look at that, eh?
Yeah. Time is a great healer, but
that's a heavy memory to have if you wasn't, I've never experienced that, and I have no idea. I have none, zero, nothing. Even though I've watched all these war movies, that's a joke, guys.
Hey, you can get PTSD from Saving Private Ryan. Why not?
Yeah, you got to communicate. Yeah.
So let me go to what cons have you guys been to throughout the country? Have you guys been out of the country to any cons?
No, we haven't gotten past Las Vegas.
What about Tim's connections in the UK, man?
I've been out here too long. Other than getting to know the guy James from Cardboard Emperors in London over, online.
Yeah.
In the last sort of year or so, I haven't. I've been over here too long. I'm out of contact with, that sort of stuff.
What about those guys at Little Wars TV? They do a Historicon.
There's who are the guys in Barcelona or whatever?
Bayotacon.
One guy, I guess that was on either. I want to say it was either San Diego Online or it was the Connections that we did, the professional war game, where he asked if we wanted to discuss coming out there, but then I've never heard from him. So,
and
yeah, sure, we'll still talk. But.
Their English is good because I've heard some of those guys. But how's your Spanish?
Niet.
Well, I have to learn how to speak English. Got that for a lark.
What about a guy like? Do you guys know Wordy
Wardrobe? I've seen him online and watched some of the live streams he's done. Yeah.
Now this guy's a grognard, right? And he's learned and all that stuff and whatever. He doesn't have to learn nothing, but there's a certain game that escapes him. But he's got an attitude. How do you teach a guy like that?
Well, again, I will point out that they need to come to us and and say, I want to learn.
Oh, he'll never come
Go
to
to
you.
them.
He'll never come to you. You got to go to
Okay,
him.
then we're done. That's easy.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
can lead a grognard to cardboard, but you can't make him think.
yeah.
So,
no offense to anybody.
no, I'm just
that,
joking.
but,
I'm
I mean,
joking.
I can't teach people who are unwilling to learn.
No, I'm
Yeah.
ribbing him. I'm ribbing him.
Yeah.
On the other subject, though, just to go off on a tangent, I mean, part of the thing we've learned about teaching games to people is somebody's enthusiasm in a subject matter can make up an awful lot for their lack of experience. So part of the process is somebody goes, hey, I want to learn this particular game. You sort of, okay, what have you played before? And like, oh, I'm a complete newbie, but I want to learn that particular game. Their enthusiasm can help in the absorption process.
Really? Okay,
And
that's good to know.
It's quite surprising that you have some people that are like, I've never played a war game, but what have you got? And okay, what have you played before? Okay, and I might pick something on the easier scale, the more introductory, the more crossover. But if somebody comes in and goes, oh, I've heard about Paths of Glory. I've heard it's a great game. I want to learn it, but I've never played it before. I mean, with a bit of understanding and taking that into account, you can teach them it. But they have to be interested and willing to learn.
That's what happened at Pacificon. We had a guy who'd never really even tried a game like that before. And we sat him down and I took him through the steps, and within an hour, they were off and playing on their own.
But I mean, Paths of Glory looks like an easy game. You read a card and you move point to point. What's the big deal?
Okay, go ahead and read the book and let me know, Dan.
So going back to where you guys have been, you said you've never been out of Vegas?
Farther east than Vegas.
We normally stick to Southern California apart from Pacificon, so
online we've been to North Carolina, right? With the
now, aren't you guys going to the Dice Tower Con?
Yes.
And where is that?
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh. Now, that's very interesting that you guys are going there. I hope you guys get a lot of curious people coming up to you, because what's the population of that con? 600? 700?
Oh,
seriously?
Try maybe like 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been there once. We were there right before COVID hit, and we were a smash. I have to say, it was kind of like when we were back in Strategicon. We had all these Euros. We had ladies sit down and want to learn Wilderness Empires by Worthington Games.
Really?
We
What's a
played
lady?
An entire game of Wilderness Empires.
Really?
Yeah, with these 5 people. It was great. We had a good time.
I think I got in trouble.
He has a legal department. Dang.
I know, man. The guy, tell you, he's a heavy. He's a heavy.
He is.
Yeah,
So,
Dice Tower West was a bit of we got invited, and we went along there equipped to be as flexible as possible, and didn't know where we were going to be located, didn't know what it was going to be like, and it worked out very well. We had a good location. There's some pictures from Dice Tower West running in my background there.
God, like 40 or 50 people come through the War Game Bootcamp, which for us, that's a lot.
So no downtime for you guys there.
No.
No, that was a great con. I mean, you're exhausted at the end of it, but that couple there, they're playing another game there. I mean, I can't remember the lady's name. She was a hoot. She was really aggressive. Her husband was less so. So she was just attack. But it's funny that some people like to watch. Some people don't mind working as a group.
I've got being there in my mind, but anyway.
And other people just dive in and take part. There's a guy, Drew, there we met. And you see me there giving him the rabbit.
Oh, I thought that was Phil Collins in the background. Sorry.
Yeah, that was.
But you can see there, there's the Dice Tower, the main ballroom. I mean, we were in a great location near.
Yeah, right behind the dealer's room. So we were
so we had a lot of foot traffic, which we like. We want people to walk by and ask questions. You know, I like to leave games out on a table to say this is the sort of games we can do, and I have a mix of games from short, simple crossover games, more Euro-y war games, all the way through to something. You know.
So you guys take up a lot of floor space, man.
We need an amount.
We try not to take up too much because there's only 2 of us, so there's only so much we can do. So like I said, we try to get about 4 tables and some space to store our stuff and, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, and I've never had a con go, whoa, that's way too much, or, you know.
Well, I was going to ask you, what about something like Gen Con? Have you guys ever been to Gen Con?
I've been to the one when it was in Southern California.
And were you guys, I'm going to say performing.
No,
were you guys performing at that show?
No, Tim wasn't there. I went with some other friends. But no, we've never done the War Game Bootcamp at Gen Con.
And I was going to talk about the master of all master interviewers, Harold Buchanan, Buchanan, sorry. He's going to be there, right? Was he a catalyst in bringing you guys into the Dice Tower West, or no?
No.
Oh, so that's 2 different things happening at the Dice Tower.
Well, yeah, he's invited us to be in the War Game room with him, which we're fine with. That's okay. But I am going to talk to the con because I would like to have some time, like we did the previous, where we were out with the Euro gamers.
Yeah, I was thinking that would be even better if the war room was at one end and you guys were at the other end. Whatever, you're flanking them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, Harold was there when we were there. He just showed up at the last Dice Tower, and I think that's where he got the idea, because he saw, you know, that things were going actually pretty well for us. And contrary to what ARDWULF says, Tom Vassal's not opposed to war games.
No, he's not at all. Not at all.
He's not opposed to them. He just doesn't understand them much.
No, and you know what? Tom Vassal actually is a really super nice guy in my experience, and very generous, incredibly busy, because, I mean, it's his baby, and he just likes to rib war gamers. And you know what? Us war gamers, we bite. What did he say? Oh my God!
They have the Dice Tower library of games has a bunch of war games in it. I believe Decision donated a lot of games. Decision games were there.
They donate?
They donate. I think they donated games to the library. So yeah, there were games there, and I got a picture somewhere of some of the war games in the library.
Yeah, so, they have Watch Over the Rhine.
Really? I don't know. They had so many games.
They've got a good library system there. It's a very well run con.
Yes.
We had fun there. We wanted the Eurogamers to walk past. I mean,
yes.
I walked around Dice Tower West and I saw a couple of war games scattered around just in open gaming. And I go over there and talk to people and stuff like that. Like I taught Blitzkrieg War in 20 minutes about a dozen times at the last Dice Tower West.
And people go to gravitate towards that game?
It's a good introductory war game. There's enough meat there to have fun. It's quick. You can teach it to anybody.
Is it because of the cubes?
No, it's got counters, but it's a draw from the bag. It's a good light crossover Euro-y war game, which we have a number of them, because that's a good way of getting a Euro gamer or somebody new. You don't want to overwhelm them let's throw you straight into a big hex and counter game. Let's set up Death Ride Kursk and throw you into that. No, you got to understand. You got to pick the audience, and games have got different. They fit in different ways.
And you said Blitzkrieg in 20 minutes. I mean, World War II in 20 minutes. Paolo Mori's game.
Yes.
You said it's a chit draw. But I mean, there's some games that are coming out now from some heavy designers where chit draw is a serious mechanic.
Yeah. Well, but it's not quite a chit draw activation thing as you pull the counter from the bag, and then you decide where it goes as opposed to an activation. But it has enough mechanics that somebody who's not played a war game before, maybe a little bit hesitant, wants to try something. It plays very quickly. It's a good it's a 2-player game. It's a great couples game. And it allows you to explain, hey, this is how it's modeling World War II. Here's the Western Front. Here's the Eastern Front. Here's the Pacific. Look how one side has an advantage in naval over land. It helps you to explain, here's the reasons why the game is doing it this way. We like to have that connection to history to say, oh, here's Paths of Glory. Why is the BEF removed once it takes the hits? You can't rebuild it. Why is that? Here's the reason why.
Yeah, it has lots of decision points, which we like. It doesn't have to be mechanics heavy, but you have to make lots and lots of decisions on what you're doing.
Tim, how long you been in America?
America?
Yeah,
20 years.
So
and you still can't understand what I'm saying.
That's okay. Can you say water?
Water?
Yeah, say water.
Water. That's the one word of all the words. That is the one word I have the most problem with Merkins understanding. That even to this day, I'll have a glass of water, and you just get looks of confusion. Carl knows that, and it's like I'm not, and eventually I might have to fall down and say, "Can I have a water?"
That and aluminium.
But it is aluminium. It's not aluminum. It's aluminium.
I credit Tim with that because I couldn't say I can't say aluminum very well, so I say aluminium.
But it is. It's aluminium.
They're alternative names.
Anyway, but going back to what I wanted to say, and I can't believe I remembered. Tim, the war game scene in the UK.
I have no idea what it's like. I've been here for 20 years. All I know is war games are a lot easier to find in this country, and they're a lot more affordable.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, shipping issues, the VAT issues.
Horrible.
I mean, I used to buy games from Second Chance Games, which are still around now. I mean, there was a comic hobby sci-fi store in Bristol called Forbidden Planet, which I think it was there about 10 years ago. I'm not sure if it's still around. That was the only place you could find games. And that would involve a trek into the center of Bristol to go there and see what they had until I found mail order. And you could go, Second Chance Game would send you a paper catalog, and you would write out a piece of paper and put a check in and put it in the post. And eventually a box would arrive with goodies in it, and you're picking games basically off. Here's the title, here's a brief description, here's the price.
Yeah.
But you're talking of, pre-internet basically.
Yeah.
So come to the States and it's like
really
games. Nom games.
It's funny because I was talking to Matt White, the designer, but the artist also, and he lives in a place where he says, man, a stone's throw, you'll hit a war game club.
Yeah. Okay.
Is he lying? Is he a liar?
Well, where does he live?
England.
Sure.
Okay, where does he live?
Somewhere on the east-south side. I don't know, Tim.
I know. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff there. It's like anything else. It's people ask the question like, where do I find war gamers? Well, go online and look on Meetup.
Yeah, I know.
Look on groups and ask people.
Send me an email. I'll find somebody for you. I've done that for people.
And Tim, not Tim, Carl, by the way, when we're talking about catalog, I'm still waiting for the pipes and cigar catalog. Thank you.
Just saying, just had a picture there of a bunch of games that I tend to.
Oh, you mean this?
yeah, that one. And that looks pretty thick too.
Yeah, what's the matter with you?
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
One of them's mine and one of them's yours. I'm keeping one. But
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So what's next for you guys? Are you guys thinking of branching out into? And I'm going to say the word. And I know you guys are busy, this and this and that, into video teaching?
Not teaching yet. I did do a learn to play with Mo, which came out okay. I would have been, oh, hello from Spain. Yes. We were just talking about you a little while ago. Not you specifically, but Spain. I do better when I'm teaching a person, and as opposed to being on a video and saying, you must do this, you must do this.
Okay, so you need the feedback.
I need a little bit of the feedback, but we've talked about doing some other video project ideas that to again contribute to the hobby. I'd like to do a segment of talking to people who are currently playing games and why they're playing that specific game and what they like about it, what they don't like about it, that kind of thing.
Is there any specific game company that gets played more than anybody else?
Well, by volume, it's usually GMT, because I mean they just have so many either in demand games. Like at Pacificon, I think I taught Atlantic Chase at least 3 times. Or they just have very good introductory games like Command and Colors Napoleonics, or Maneuver, or gosh, they have a bunch of games that are actually pretty good for that. And then we always end up teaching POG. Seems like a lot too, because a lot of people are want to crack that.
Hold on, POG.
Sure.
That was a game.
Sorry.
Oh, for God's sake, significant POG.
POG is Paths of Glory.
These acronyms, why are we stuck on acronyms? Do you guys use the acronyms when you teach? Because let me tell you right now, fail.
No, we don't. Or try not to. It's really difficult sometimes to not say things like, well, there's your DRM. I mean, it's the same as teaching tech people. You have to have a certain level of understanding to begin with.
Well,
we can't start at 0. We start at 0. Okay, there's a dice.
Oh, for God's sake. Okay.
A 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 6. You see what I'm saying? If you start there, they're going to be like, wow, what are you doing? I know what
there's a dice. This is a die.
Then there's a table that you roll on, and you check if it's a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or 4. No, I'm just kidding.
Look, Andreas.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, you were there at the Dragoons convention. Yeah.
Was he a good pupil?
He was a great pupil. I give him a gold star.
So, Andreas, send him your address. Carl will be sending you a gold star.
Yep.
What about accolades and stuff like that? That you guys don't give out? Hey, you were really good. Here's a badge or something.
Actually, the Pacificon used to give us these placards that they wanted us to give out, like War Game Rookie of the Year, and I forget what the other one was.
That's tough.
So
Grognard of the Year.
Grognard of the Year, and then Rookie of the Year. So we gave Rookie of the Year to Roger Miller, the guy who owns Revolution Games.
I'll try and find a pic of that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Because we're like, I don't know who to give this to. I mean, so we were like, Roger's done a lot, and I'm sure he was his first year wargaming. He was Rookie of the Year. So
okay,
yeah.
So
he says he has it hanging in his office still.
Carl, you gave, of course he does. Carl, you gave me a feel good story. Tim, can you give me a horror story?
Showing up.
I mean, I'm not really sure about a horror story. I mean,
you don't have to name names.
A horror story. We don't. Oh yeah, there's Roger taking his away. He was so proud.
I'm sure, man.
We don't have a lot of negative stuff happen. I mean,
Any indifference? Indifference.
Yeah, we got guys walk by and go, "Oh, that's a stupid game." It's like,
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
That's a stupid game because he knows.
Well, here's one thing that I talk about that has caused a little bit of annoyance and stuff. Like I like to leave the games out on the table. Like here's a variety of the games that we brought along, because we always bring along way too many, you know, and we always bring along something that's just come out that we're probably not that equipped to teach it, but we want to teach it because it's just come out. You know, there's the Cult of the New, and there's also the old standards. We've had it where people just come along and just like start rifling through the games, doing all sorts of stuff to them, and barely shove them back in the box. So, you know,
really,
we have to put labels out like saying, we're not a library. You know, ask before you touch. We don't mind people looking at the games and talking about them and all the rest of it. Like they might have an interest in, you know, I've seen the game over in the vendor's room. Can I have a look at the components? It's okay.
Yeah, that's cool. See, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in Canada. We're all
Your
so
guys
polite.
are too nice.
We had a guy walk up and say, "How much for your games?" And we're like, "We're not selling them."
Yeah.
He didn't read the big sign, eh?
And he came up twice during the con and asked that. It was like, "What are you doing?" No, but and a lot of people ask us. They go, "Oh, you do this, so they give you all the games, right?" And
yes, of course.
This is our private collection. This is.
No, you should have. We do this for the money.
Yeah, all of it.
And okay, look, we're going over our time, but I want to answer Mickey's questions here. Do you see the potential for a resurgence of wargaming interest among younger crowds?
Unequivocally, yes. I have taught. I had a one session that we were at a historical game society invited us, because they do miniatures and they wanted more board game representation.
Okay, so those are the guys from Little Wars TV.
Yeah, they're part of that organization.
Okay, yeah.
And a kid, a 13-year-old kid, came in and desperately wanted to learn a war game. So I sat down and taught him Axis and Allies Guadalcanal.
Yeah, but that's huge. How do you set that up, man?
It's not that huge. It's a one map. No, it's just a one map thing. But we played for what, 2 hours, I think. His mom kept saying, "Oh no, if we're taking up your time, we can go." I'm like, no. Oh, that's the picture. Tim's putting it up right there. No
way. That's too cool to see a little kid like that, man.
I can tell you, I've gotten numerous examples of kids like that walking up and being curious about games like that. I gave him my copy of the game when he left.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. But I understand your.
If you, and I gave him our war game card, and I said, if you're ever ready to come out and play war games, just drop me an email. And I heard from the kid once, but he lives like way up in, I don't know where, I don't remember, but somewhere far away.
Like what? Like northern California?
No, it's like Big Bear, out past Big Bear or something like that. Like, I don't know, somewhere like hours away.
Well, gentlemen, first of all, Tim, it was really nice to meet you, man. Really nice. I hope we can do this again. Do you smoke a pipe?
No.
You're English. You're supposed to.
Tea, or whiskey, or cider.
What kind of tea are you drinking right now?
It's cold. I'm on English breakfast tea with milk, no sugar.
Why do the English do that? Why do they bastardize good leaf?
Oh, you're doing that. That's a stupid game thing. Got it.
Oh, is that what I'm doing?
Yes, that's the equivalent of, yeah. If you want to smoke a pipe, I'm not judging you. Well, I am judging you, but I don't do it to your face.
Tim, my favorite answer to any of this is, when you're me, you can drink your tea any way you want. Until then, I'm going to drink it.
Well, I mean, look at Tim. Tim's a handsome man. I'd like to be Tim with that beard and stuff. Do you put any stuff on your beard, Tim? Are you one of those guys that puts oil on their beard? And if you do, what kind of oil?
I have waxes and stuff like that I sometimes use. All I need to do is I just brush it.
He carries a little hand brush.
I have a brush. I've brushed my beard more than I probably ever brushed my hair.
I would hope.
I don't know what to say.
But when he does that, women just come running.
I was gonna say, why don't you use, you know, like,
Oh, he's pushing his beard. Oh,
look, when you're in Spain and in Italy, there's no wax. There's olive oil. You know what I'm saying?
well,
That just got weird.
okay.
Like, oh,
his
we're
face is
cooking.
not
Let
a
me just
salad.
squeeze some out.
That's disgusting. I was trying to outgross you out, but you just outgrossed me out. But anyways, gentlemen, Carl, thank you very much. Tim,
thank
thanks
you.
a lot. Sorry to take up your time. I'm really, really happy you guys did this. We had a good bunch of people, actually, believe it or not. And
Thanks
stick
everyone
around.
for showing up. Thank
We
you.
could yak for hours about this. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, so stick around. I'm going to give you my address so you can send me the check. I'm gonna
only if you spell the word correctly. How do you
Uh,
spell check, Dan?
yeah, okay.
How do you spell check?
No. Thank
Don't
you,
forget,
people,
it's got
for
to be
showing.
with a Q. If you don't use
Thank
spelling
you.
with a Q, you ain't doing it right.
Thank you, people, for showing up in the peanut gallery. And guys, stick around. I'm going to do my professional outro. Okay.